patch 0.10.7, and it's all about submarines. And I know it's only for a ranked season, and I do believe it's a smart way from World of Warships development to test them up, not in random battle but in this special mode. So very fast, I'd like to talk about there will be also in the near future a very interesting convoy defense and attacking. I very much would like to know more about it. If you hype about the new type of missions like convoy missions and so on, I do believe it's new for the game, and I highly recommend you to go and test it. And something else that I very much like to say, probably, I'm not saying too much, but even in that particular game mode, convoy defense or convoy attacking, it will be probably involve some kind of submarines actions. Now, for someone who you probably are familiar with this game, the big difference between a light cruiser and a heavy cruiser, the heavy cruiser won't have depth charges, the light cruiser will have. And I believe of all cruisers, the strongest, with no doubt of mine, are in the very near future, probably, I will guess, the French cruiser line, but not keep that in mind, not all of them they are light cruiser. They will be from tier 7, and so it's definitely heavy cruiser. It's all about the artillery. This is definitely light cruisers firepower. So it has one of the fastest tier 5 cruisers in this game. Sure, she's thick and she's have no armor whatsoever, but what makes this ship kind of unique, I do honestly believe, guys, that it will let's see if I can escape. There you have it. It will have one of the fastest speed in this game at tier 5. Overall, guys, I believe there are quite few interesting cruiser line, but the most effective, I would say that it's this line, the British light cruiser line. All of them from tier, literally, I have no idea, tier 2 all the way to tier 10. I'm grinding, I know I'm still am, to the Minotaur. Will have death charges. And what also makes unique them, they have a long range hydro. Sure, it's not, you're not gonna spot that submarine anytime soon. However, I honestly believe that it's probably too early for me to say, but they turn on a dime, they don't even lose speed in a turn. Makes them wondering. Let me know in a comment below if this line probably it's not one of the strongest versus submarines. I believe so, guys, seriously. Yes, you may argue that you have some tools if you're a heavy cruiser or a cruiser which have a big turning radius like Soviet Moskva, Stalingrad, but I do believe versus submarines you are a sitting duck. The difference between a battleship and a Stalingrad versus a submarine, I do believe it's non-existent. As a matter of fact, there are some battleships which have better turning radius than, let's say, Moscow or Stalingrad. For that reason, this combination, smoke, good concealment, hydro, long period of hydro, and of course, death charges, makes this line kind of a unique. And I very much like to say that it's probably the best line if you want to deal with submarines. But I'm not 100% sure that's the truth. But they are not the hard counterparts versus submarines. I do believe they are the next best. The best one is, of course, the destroyer. So, in my honestly opinion, same story, guys, without saying too much. I'm actually grinding. I played a lot of battle with this ship, with the Lightning. I highly recommend you. It's probably one of the strongest, in my honest opinion, of all tier 8 ships. attached 3 ship, not premium ships. And same story here. They do not have speed boost. They are not fast, but torpedo British destroyer with this extremely long duration of hydro. Yeah, recall commander. Yes, let's do it. Let's talk about the gimmicks. What makes this, ship line? I'm talking about the British destroyer line is because of this 3 kilometers torpedoes and 3 kilometers detection, but it literally lasts for 180-second reloads in 120. But what's the specialty? It's definitely not the concealment. The concealment is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. It's the best in the class. That's what makes Lightning extremely powerful and deadly versus any Japanese destroyer. You'll outspot anyone. I mean, yes, Kagero can outspot with 5.4, but when you're facing a Lightning, you're a Kagero, you know who's gonna win and who's gonna lose, especially if you don't have any other support. I'm talking about 1 versus 1. Crazy good concealment, pretty damn good firepower at this range, not so much versus long range. But the biggest killer versus a submarine, it's definitely the concealment and rudder. Rudder 590 meters and 3 seconds rudder shift. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but dodging incoming submarine torps probably won't be that hard. How is that? You almost gain speed in a turn, for crying out loud. That makes this line kind of unique. And this combo, good stealth. Yes, a submarine can detect this ship only at 5.5 kilometers. When you're fighting 5.5 kilometers from a Lightning or any other British destroyer, remember hydro, it's on the 3 kilometers, so you literally have only 2.5 kilometers away to disappear somehow. Yes, you will of course outspot any destroyer if you have submarines, but when you are in this close range, yes, you can try to torpedo a Lightning or any other British destroyer. However, don't make 100% sure you're always gonna do it, because it's literally one of the most maneuverable ships in this game. And once again, you turn and don't lose speed in a turn. You gain speed in a turn, for crying out. I believe, without saying too much, that this is very interesting and very effective line to take down the submarines. But, and there is a huge damn but, let's talk about another line that I believe, without saying too much, it is very interesting. And I'm talking about the French Speed Demon from Tier 8. Oh gosh, I don't have any French destroyer, but let me put it this way. La Fantastique all the way to Kleber and Mogador, they are speed demons. So if you, let's say, let's say at CV or anything, spot the submarines, I do believe of all the destroyers, the French one has the fastest way to locate, where the submarines are, figure out a location. And sure, you kind of have a rough concealment and maneuverability. It's kind of a bad, big, large rudder shift. But then, if the destroyer are coming from one side or coming from behind, what I'm trying to say is that I have no idea this speed demon combination with submarines, and I believe the French destroyer will shine like crazy. And the same story, guys, will be with the one of the next fastest ships of all the destroyers. You have the tier 9 insane speed. I'm talking about the premium one which have the fastest tier 9 speed of all the destroyers, and of course you have the Soviet from tier 8 Kiev all the way to Khabarovsk and Trashken. And I would very much like to say that Udalo, it's not a slow ship either. Once again, the concealment are bad. However, I still honestly believe that a submarine cannot disengage from the Soviet destroyer or the French one, because I don't think they have enough speed underwater or above water to even come close. And for that, I believe now I did test early access. I was playing against submarines when they are catch, and here's my final word. When a destroyer catches submarines, and he has very small, tiny opportunity to disengage, because it's just one sided, you just kill it. You know, it's so simple. And of all the destroyers, the fastest to spot and come on the above a submarine, it's definitely the Soviet and of course the French destroyers. Yes, all other destroyers can do that, but they can do it much faster. You may argue that Khabarovsk and many others, they have a bad concealment, probably in some ways. The homing torps can also be an issue with large destroyer like Trashkent and Khabarovsk that have a bad turning radius and bad concealment. So I have no exactly 100%, but my guts says that those two lines will be extremely effective to take down fast, because the one who's gonna cap first is probably not another destroyer, it's the submarines, and so it's a tricky situation. But I honestly believe that if you are playing in a submarine, you should kind of feel that you have a big threat, and that it's those fast or extremely fast destroyers. And for another reason, I have this feeling that it's same story. It's with I'm talking about the German destroyer line, which have like T-61 Hydro, the best damn Hydro. Remember, guys, that the Hydro will always detect a submarine. He needs to go to the extremely max depth to Hydro to not be picked. So even if it's down, a German destroyer can always spot the the submarines. Only when he's to the maximum depth, only then the Hydro does not work. And if you already know, the Hydro of the German destroyer, it's pretty nice. Let's talk about the equipment. And I very much like to say to this end of this video, probably if you own any ships with Hydro, I highly recommend you to put this Hydro search modification one with 20% more action time. I do honestly believe that this combo makes the Hydro and the duration it's even more important, and so on. But there's a lot of cruises with this Hydro. In my honestly opinion, in the very near future, this consumable or the Hydro search will actually in some ways, in sometimes, be even more important than AA defense. I will go so far that this is probably a must-have for all ships that you can put the Hydro on, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that they will always help you, I'm not saying that, but in a destroyer, which is hard counter versus submarines, it's definitely a huge advantage. The downside, they are large, not that nimble, it's much easier for submarine to land some torpedoes versus slow and bad turning. But the turning, it's not that bad. 2.9 and 600 meters. Sure, it's not British, but overall it's not that bad. And this one probably also must have steering gearing modification one to avoid those homing torpedoes, because you can still be killed by the submarine if you don't pay attention, you know what I mean. So let me know in the comment below which ship are the best one to deal versus submarines. I definitely say that light cruisers and the destroyers, and the destroyers with speed or destroyer with hydro will definitely be the winner. And I will go so far, probably in 8 of 10 attacks the destroyer should win that engagement. I'm talking about the destroyer versus submarine. So there you have it, guys. Let me know in a comment below what do you think about this new shall I say, task for the destroyer and light cruiser to deal with and try to kill them, because they are only those two who can do significant damage. I'm talking about doing from full health submarines to 0 in just one single, shall I say, drop of your death charges. Yeah, you can literally kill a full HP submarines if you have those two type of ships, destroyer or light cruiser. Have a good one, guys. Take care and catch you in the next one. Bye.